What's up, guys? So I am in the garage of my really good friend who we call the Welder. You've probably seen his stuff on my channel quite a few times because he's done a lot of projects for me with the excavator. He built me a trenching bucket, for heaven's sake. I mean, this guy's awesome. Hey, real quick, tell me a little bit about this trailer, because I do a lot of RV content, a lot of trailer content in general, but this trailer looks absolutely freaking extreme. What is going on here? What is this trailer used for?
This trailer is used for fertilizer. Spread fertilizer around the property. But the thing is, fertilizer will eat away at your metal. And the whole back half of this trailer was completely rusted out. And so the front part, this A-frame part, was all still in good condition. Just going to clean it up and paint it. But the back half is completely rebuilt.
Let's go check this out. So pretty much from here back, you
Yes.
completely rebuilt?
Yes, this is where they're going to bolt in all the way around.
My gosh. This is crazy. It's on torsion axles. Did you do the axle frames through the axle tubes, or is this all, were the axles okay?
The axles were fine.
Okay. Check out these tires. These things are absolutely insane. But this is a project he's been working on, and I've been in line. This guy has such demand for his work because he is such a perfectionist when it comes to welding. And I mean, first, I know I call you the Welder, and we've probably mentioned this before, but you're not just a welder, but you're also a welding inspector, correct?
Yes, I'm a certified welding inspector with AWS.
Okay, so guys, when you watch this video, leave a comment below. Would you like me to bring him out to inspect the welds on the RVs that I have on the property? Or maybe even take him to a dealership, or maybe even take him on a trip to a manufacturer to inspect welds? Is that something you might want to do?
That'd be interesting.
You want to hop on a plane, head up to Elkhart, Indiana, and spend some time looking at welds?
That'd be very interesting.
That'd be very cool. Now, what do you do, like when you say an inspector, what industry do you typically inspect for, and what is so critical about the welds you inspect?
Well, actually, what I do is I'm an inspector for a fab shop, and they build pressure vessels for the refineries in the surrounding areas, along with modules, living quarters that go off offshore, and I make sure they build them correctly within tolerances, and the welds are clean, sound, good welds.
So this is the type of thing, not like an RV. In an RV, if a weld breaks, things get squishy, they get spongy feeling. You typically have some time to repair it before something catastrophic happens. But the stuff you inspect, if it fails, somebody gets killed.
Yes. Yes.
That's probably a good way of looking at it. And
Yes.
it's oil field. That's probably the best way of saying it, oil field. You inspect the welds that oil field welders do. And you're also, of course, a welder yourself, so you know
Yes.
exactly what it should look like. And you know what? It's funny. He actually came out and he did this preliminary look at a couple spots on the Brookstone, the fifth wheel, and we talked a lot about it. I mean, this was kind of a precursor to what you're seeing here and what we might do later, but we talked about that the welds weren't super pretty, and there were some areas where there's some holes in the welds, but in your opinion, are they passable? Are they functional? Or what would you say about the quality of the few welds that you looked at?
What they usually say in the industry is it going to do its purpose? Were they some of the prettiest welds that I've seen? No. Do they have some cleaning up that need to be taken care of? Some weld spatter, some porosity in the weld. They did have some. Wasn't the prettiest, but is it going to do what it's supposed to do? Yes, those welds will hold. I just wish they would take a little bit more pride in how they're welding.
Well, here's a question I have for you. Do most welders, I'm not really including you because I know you're a perfectionist everywhere, even areas you can't see, but do most welders, when they go to work and they're doing a job versus doing it for themselves, do they tend to take less care cosmetically in how a weld looks if something's going to be hidden or concealed versus something that's going to be exposed and visible?
With the older generation, the older welders that have been doing it for a long time, I've noticed that they're the ones that take a lot more pride in their work. The younger generations, they're just there for the money, which they don't take as much pride in their work as the older class of welders.
Okay, I made a comment while I was actually, filming a topic about welds, and what I kind of seen is, like, you go up to one of these factories and they have 600 plus welders in a relatively small city. It's not a big town. It's Elkhart, Indiana, and you got to imagine, how do you find 600 plus qualified welders when the entire town is inundated with other companies that also need welders. And I have this theory that the stuff that they weld for the public might not be the prettiest, might not look that great, but then they go home and they weld this immaculate looking fire pit for themselves. Is that something you see often in the industry?
Yes, because if it's not going to be for them, they don't really put their heart and soul into it. They're just going to do it enough to get by to do the job. Okay. And usually when you're doing something for yourself, you tend to take a lot more pride in it and how it looks and how your welds come out.
Yep. Part of that is the fact that he's got 3 1/8-inch thick pipe here that you build your barbecue pits out of.
Yes.
And we were talking about it. We're like, why not 1/4 inch? And he's like, well, 3/8 inch is going to last longer. Everything will rust through at some point, but 3/8 will definitely take a lot longer before that happens.
My thing as far as my custom barbecue pits that I make, I want them to last.
Yep.
These pits are expensive. And I've seen other builders around that they're very expensive. And if you're going to be paying that much for something, you want it to last.
Yep, and who better to build one than a certified welding inspector who does welding? I mean, that's pretty awesome. You know, a lot of cool things going on here, but let me talk to you quickly about the project that we're going to have. So this really cool contraption right here is actually a debris fork. You put this on the front bucket of a tractor to lift debris up and move it around, like hay or brush, you know, if you cut trees down, stuff like that. And you've probably seen one of these on my channel before. This is the second one. I actually gave the other one away, regretfully. But these right here are the wings to attach the excavator boom to. So this is going to give me the capability of utilizing this as kind of a debris fork for the excavator, but more importantly, a way of moving equipment around. And you're going to see some content soon where we actually use this to move some equipment around to get things on top of other things and give us a lot of flexibility. So that's what he's going to be doing here for me. He's actually going to be converting this into something that can attach to the front of my excavator, and I will have a really, really, really functional forklift kind of contraption that will give me the capability of moving heavy objects up high if I need to. So that is really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to that. But you know, we talk a lot about RVs on my channel, and we talk a lot about weight and why things are built a certain way. I can imagine the tubular structure, which looks like a 2x6 inch tube, or 2 of them.
These are about, well, if they were matching the back end, which they should be, they're about 3/16 thick.
Okay, so they're not super, super thick, but you can see what they've done here. So that looks like, is that 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch?
3/8 plate.
So they put 3/8 inch plate to reinforce the A-frame section up here. In your best guess, because you deal a lot with steel, this one piece of steel, that little plate right here, how much do you think that plate by itself weighs, roughly?
You're probably looking around 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds.
Okay, so it's not out of the question to say to add something like that to the front A-frame section of an RV if it means that it's going to be structurally much stronger, right? Because you might have, let's say, 30 pounds you add up front here. That's not a tremendous amount of weight if it gives you the peace of mind. Maybe that's a project we should do. Let's reinforce the heck out of my travel trailer. So is there a problem sometimes welding into material that is, I know if it's extremely thin, there's a problem, but if it's relatively thin,
depending on the thickness, you're going to change the process you're going to be using. If something like that is going to be very thin, you're not going to be trying to weld it with stick or flux core. You're going to want to go with the MIG.
Okay.
MIG is normally what they use for vehicles and sheet metal body work, because the MIG won't be as hot. So I would use the MIG on that.
Okay. There's areas there. There's definitely some suspension areas I could see reinforcing, but I think that would be a cool little thing. And I know that he's been a very, very busy man, and I know he's been wanting to kind of kick off some of his social media content as well. You do a lot with the American Valor Foundation, which is super cool, and we got him connected with that. So he has regular conversations with Chris Kyle's parents, which is super cool.
Yes, and actually we have the event at the end of this month, the 27th.
Yep, and what are you going to be doing for that event this year?
I donated 2 open grills, which I'll send you a photo. You can attach it.
Of course.
I did 2 open grills that are custom grills for the event. I also did a fire pit with custom wall cutouts. And the last thing I did was a diesel burner with, again, American Valor cutouts.
That's awesome. Please send me the pictures. I'd love to share them on here. And finally, the welder. He is an Army veteran. You want to real quickly mention your military service so folks can appreciate what you've done for them?
Yes, sir. Army, 2003 to 2011. Deployment from 2009 to 2010.
Yep, I appreciate your service, brother. Anyways, guys, yeah, we're going to have him more on the channel if he wants to be. I know he's been trying to do this, and when he gets himself some freedom here and he can get rid of some of these projects, then we'll have him on the channel more, because he is definitely an awesome resource. And I pay for this stuff too, so don't think I ask for any of this stuff for free. So I pay him for it. I don't want him ever thinking I'm trying to take advantage of him. That's a big deal for me. So, but this is gonna be really cool when it's done. We'll have you out on the channel again, definitely.
All right,
guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again real soon. This is one awesome restoration.